Hi class, this is Dr. Dilmar. Good evening. Wanted to just make a brief video for you so that we could accomplish a couple of things. First of all, I wanted you to be able to put a name to a face. So hello. And wanted to make sure we all get off on a good foot. So welcome to U.S. History Part 1. I'm Dr. Dilmar. I am an adjunct professor who works for ECORE through Columbus State University. Just a little bit about myself. I actually teach part-time for a couple of the different schools in the area. I live in Columbus, Georgia. And I know that probably some of you live here in the area and some of you live all around the state. I grew up in Richmond Hill, Georgia, which is right outside of Savannah. I moved from there about a little over 10 years ago, and I've moved there to a couple other places. I actually lived overseas for a while, Virginia, and then when I was overseas, I actually moved from there to here in Columbus. So I'm from Georgia and moved back here, and I actually work full-time at Fort Benning at an elementary school, and then I teach history and education classes for, like I said, a couple of the local universities and online. So welcome to my class. U.S. History is something that I actually taught for years at the middle and high school level, and then I've taught it online for a couple of years now. I know that some people have the perception of history that they're super boring classes, and I hope that you walk away not thinking that history is so boring. I think that the ECORE classes are built in a way that it kind of fits my own philosophy, where we dig into kind of some of the stories, dig into some of the events that brings out kind of what people were going through. We look at it from the human perspective and not just from the textbook perspective. And so I think ECORE has set up these classes to do that fairly well. I'll try to help enhance that perspective as much as possible through what I'm able to offer as the professor. I really like to look at the people and what they went through in history and what it means, because I think that's what makes it relevant and not so dry. And so this is U.S. American History Part 1. It's an 8-week course, as you all probably know. Most of the ECORE classes are. I'm sure you hear this all the time if you've taken an ECORE class before. If not, this is your first time, or regardless, you're going to hear it again. This is an 8-week course. It's a lot to have all of the content from a college class in 8 weeks. I've personally taken 8-week courses and had my own struggles. I will do my very, very best to help you be successful, but there are going to be some things that you're going to have to do. So to get started tonight, I'm going to walk you through some of the things that I think is critical for you to be successful. These courses are set up with a certain amount of content and assignments. I will facilitate that through you. I will provide you instruction to help you make some deeper level connections, and I will provide you as much guidance as I can to be successful. Promise you will feel great when you finish a whole history class in 8 weeks. When you have passed this class, and pretty much everybody passes my class unless you just don't turn in assignments. I can't help you if you don't turn in assignments, but you're going to feel really great when you have a whole history class down and you're that much closer to your goal. But it is going to be a challenge. It's not going to be an easy 8 weeks. It's not going to be a cakewalk. So I want you to strap on your boots and get ready. I'm going to now start digging in a little bit into some of those things that are going to help you be successful. What you're looking at in the background is our home page, and if you haven't already, there's a welcome announcement here. As I said before, this is a very fast-paced course. I put it in red and repeated. Plan, plan, plan. I give you lots of reminders. If you do not turn in work, you will hear from me a lot, because it's super important to me that you turn in work, because I know that you can pass the course if you complete assignments, but there's just no way you can pass the course if you have several zeros in the grade book. So here are some things that you need to read through and complete this week. The syllabus, you need to print that out. Your course calendar, mark your calendar. Some of you might use your phones for electronic calendar. Some of you might have like a hard calendar, like an actual printed out calendar, or a little calendar book or something. Whatever your method is, and if you don't have one, you need one, not just for my class, but for life. Come up with that course calendar method and go ahead and mark all these dates ahead of time. I know that you're not always consistently doing the same things from week to week. Some of you might work more one week than the next week. There might be holidays. Things happen. So, calendar things out so that you can plan accordingly. Please don't fall behind. If emergency does happen, you are welcome to contact me. So read through that welcome announcement, and you'll see on the right, there's already everything's on the calendar. So for example, your introductions are due on August 23rd. Something I do want to show you though, as far as in course due dates, we're going to go up and click on content. And so let's just look at week 1, for example, the opening week. So you'll see that there's a mandatory quiz and the due date is here. If that's easy for me to put in the calendar, there's one due date. It says ends August 26th. So there's one due date. That's super easy. Introductions are a little bit more tricky because introductions have 2 due dates. One, you have initial post. So you see this one is the initial post is due on the 23rd, but then your replies are due on the 26th. But there's only one due date that I can put in. So what I have done is put due date for August 23rd. That's when your initial post is due, and then it ends, which means your access ends when your replies are due. So your due date is going to be when your initial post is due, because I don't want you to miss that. And then the replies will come after that a few days later on all discussion boards. And you can see here that it ends on the day that replies are due. That way that you have a reminder there to put those in. All my assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. So briefly, let's look at what you're going to be doing for Unit 1 and kind of how the pacing works. So Unit 1, there's a quiz that's due on August the 30th. That means you read and you complete the quiz. Unit 2, read, quiz. Okay, so far so easy, right? Unit 3, read, quiz. Now here's the catch. There's a proctored midterm. Your proctored midterm are over the first 3 quizzes. Your proctored midterm comes super quickly. So that means within a month's time, we're taking a midterm. Remember, it's an 8-week class. So there's a lot of reading that you're going to have to do for those 3 units and then to take your proctored midterm. But then let's see what happens after the proctored midterm. Unit 4, there's a discussion board. So due September 19th, end September 22nd. Remember I said your initials are when it's due, and then your replies are September 22nd. Let me go ahead and tell you this now about discussion boards. These are not quick 15-minute discussion boards. If you try to do this in 10, 15, 20 minutes, you will not receive a great grade for these discussion boards. You need to download your syllabus and look at the rubric, and then you need to review the instructions for your discussion board carefully before posting. So for example, look at the detailed instructions for this discussion board. You don't have to read it just to see how many words are on the paper. This is not a 15-20 minute discussion board, but you have plenty of time to do it. I just don't want you to say, oh, I'm just going to open this up, give me 30 minutes and I'll write it. So I tell you that so that you can plan ahead of time. So Unit 4, there's a discussion board. Unit 5, you're going to have a discussion board and a quiz, because remember now our proctored midterm is over, right? So I tried to set the course up where you have quiz, 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 because the proctored midterm is based primarily on multiple choice questions and short answer. And so your quizzes will prepare you for your midterm. So units 1, 2, and 3 are on the proctored midterm. So you have quiz, 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 then proctored midterm. Proctored midterm includes a couple of short answer and quiz questions. And there's study guides for all 3 units. So you should be fine if you put some effort into that. Then you've got Unit 4 discussion board, Unit 5 discussion board and quiz. Now let's look what happens in Unit 6, essay. So there is no final exam for this course, there's a final essay. Remember how I said you need to plan ahead of time? Again, you're not going to get a great grade on this essay if you try to do it in an hour, okay? So I've set the course up, even though it's 8 weeks, to try to help you as much as I can be successful. I tried to put all the quizzes on the front end because you need that for your proctored midterm, and then I tried to space out some of those Unit 4, 5, and 6 assignments so you have time to work on your essay. So let's fast forward. Let's say you've done your proctored midterm, you're done with Unit 3, and you're working on Unit 4. Unit 4 just has that discussion board. If you're done with the discussion board, you should start working on your Unit 6 essay. Don't wait until the end to try to pump that essay out in just a few minutes. So when you do the essay, make sure that you schedule enough time, you look at the instructions carefully, and you read the rubric. Again, those rubrics are super important for your discussion boards and for your essays, or the essay. So there is no final exam. The final exam is your essay, in a sense. So I'm going to go back to the home page. We are over 10 minutes, so I'm about to end this video, but I'm hoping that this gives you at least some insight into what you're going to be looking at for this course. So please read through this announcement very carefully and print that syllabus. Again, your first assignment's coming up. Of course, you all know you have to do the attendance introduction because that's part of your attendance for the financial aid office and all that good jazz. And then you're going to do Unit 1 quiz that comes up on August 30th. So you've got a few days to go ahead and get your syllabus signed and uploaded, and introductions, etc. All of that is found. If you go to content and then you go to start here. So you'll see here the quiz and the introductions. Okay, well, I think that gives you a good start. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Again, a lot of this you could have read on your own. You didn't need a video to be able to get this information, but I hope that it helps that I'm emphasizing. And also, like I said, you get to put a face to a name. So I'm hoping to learn a lot about you in your introductions, and I'm sure we will talk very soon. Have a good evening. Dr. Dilmar signing off.